Hey, what's going on? It's Brett here, and today I'm going to teach you how to sit properly at work with good posture and some tricks you can do to prevent any pain you may get for sitting a long time at a desk. So the first thing you need to know is usually when people are working, they're sitting with their back against the chair like this, their hands out in front of them, they're kind of hunching and rolling forward. So that creates a couple problems because your hips generally kind of tuck under, and that puts a lot of stress at your lower back and also compromise your posture up your spine because you kind of round forward and roll your shoulders forward. A lot of people get pain between their shoulder blades here, and that's because when you have your shoulders pushed forward, your hands out in front of you all day, it's lengthening these muscles between your shoulder blades so they get over lengthened and weak, tightening up the front of your body, your chest, anterior deltoids, the front of your shoulders, and your biceps. So it kind of gets you rounding forward, tightening this area, making it hypertonic or overly strong, and this area gets overstretched and a bit too weak. And that creates pain back here because your muscles have a normal resting length, and when it is overstretched, they're kind of always fighting to get back to that normal resting length, always contracting, but they're weaker, so you're going to feel pain in that area. So a trick you can do to help relieve that stress is to just move yourself closer to your keyboard. So instead of having my hands out here typing, you could scoot your chair closer or scooch forward on the chair so that you can have your hands back here. So you'll see here, this kind of makes it so my shoulders can come back a little bit more towards their normal resting position. Another thing you can do is focus on sitting properly, not curling your tailbone under. So you have your sits bones, also known as your ischial tuberosities. Right here, there's these little bony prominence in your hips. Right there. And so the problem people make is when they sit down, they kind of curl down like that. You'll see how my butt went from here, and as I sat, kind of curled under me. So what you want to do is kind of tilt your hips forward, push your butt out, and try to sit right on those sits bones. That's going to create that nice lordotic curve in your lower back, that little arch in the lower back like this, which is going to help you sit more upright, which causes your shoulders to then go back more. You'll see when I curl over, it kind of makes my whole body curl forward, which again juts those shoulders forward and overstretches your rhomboids there between the shoulder blades. Another trick you can do to help you sit on your sits bones is kind of put your hands under you and actually feel those little bony prominences in your hips. Just ground those down into the chair. I like it. It helps me to sit more forward on my chair, my feet planted on the ground, sitting right through those sits bones. Right here, arms not too far forward, sitting back. This may get a little tiring because you're actually using different musculature than you would be when you're normally sitting. When you're here, you can kind of relax. It may not be good for your posture, but it doesn't take a lot of effort. Here, you're actually using more of your core muscles just to stabilize and keep your spine upright. Sitting right on your sits bones and balancing your spine properly will make it easier, but you're still gonna have to engage the core. So one thing you can do to help this position is just slightly engage your transverse abdominis. That's like a little weight belt around your lower back. So all you do to engage that is to pull your belly button into your spine. That'll create a little bit more stability there. And just sit here, as long as you can without getting tired. Then if you do get tired, you can scooch back to the back of your chair. And one thing you can do, which is a bit easier on more of an office chair that has a lower back than this, is something called stretch sitting. What that is that you kind of sit up, press your back up against the chair, and then sit down, kind of sliding, almost so there's a tension of the chair kind of pulling up on your back. And what that does is it puts less pressure on the hips, making it so that your back up against the chair actually supporting more of your body weight. In addition to just sitting properly, you should get up and stretch every so often, just because being in the same position is not going to be good. So when you're sitting here, at a computer, you're going to be shortening first your biceps. So a good stretch you can do there, and the wrist. Just grab your fingers, straighten your arm, get a nice stretch to the forearm and biceps. You can even do this just putting it on your thighs. Another thing you can do is just take your arm behind you on the chair and stretch it out. That'll also stretch out the chest. So it's another area that gets tightened with you rounding forward. So to stretch out the chest, you can interlace your hands behind your back at the chair. Just reach your arms back, roll your shoulders back. So you can do this with the shoulders rolled forward. You want to roll them back and really open up the chest. And in this position, you can even tilt your head from left to right to get some stretch here in the traps and neck, which get tight as well. So again, these muscles are shortened, so we just stretch those out. These muscles are overly lengthened and weak, so you could do some things at your desk to help strengthen them, to get some more tone in those muscles, to help bring your shoulders back in that good position. So one thing you can do is just place your hands right behind your head and just reach your elbows back. So here, I'm reaching my elbows back. That's kind of pinching my shoulder blades together and strengthening those muscles. So if you want a little break here, pinch your shoulder blades together. You can hold it for 30 seconds or do a couple reps. I like to take a deep, big inhale because that helps stretch out your intercostal muscles and get more oxygen into your body. You can also interlace the arms, reach them overhead, stretch side to side while you're sitting. And those are a lot of good things you can do while at work to make it so you're not feeling any chronic pain in your chest, shoulders, back, lower back. And just make sure to get up at least once an hour, or you can do a Pomodoro technique. That's where you do 20 minutes of work, then take a 5-minute break. So there's been studies that have shown that people are more productive when they take those short breaks in between 20-minute bursts of work. So you can work for 20 minutes and then take a couple minutes, get up, stretch out. You can even stretch out your hip flexors. Those get shortened and tightened while you're sitting as well. But this video, I'm just kind of focusing on the upper back, shoulders, posture while sitting. Hope that helped.